3 days since the US launched airstrikes on Iran's main nuclear facilities, there is, as of now, no clarity on the whereabouts of Iran's enriched uranium. Rather, one question continues to linger. Did the US achieve its goal of a uranium-free Iran? Or did Tehran manage to outsmart both Israel and the United States of America and hide its uranium? Because Iranian officials have made it clear they intended to continue their nuclear activities. Earlier today, the head of Iran's Atomic Energy Organization said Iran had taken what it called necessary measures to ensure the nuclear program continues. The statement also confirmed that contingency plans are already in place to restart facilities targeted by American strikes. And that raises serious questions. Because to restart any nuclear facility, one thing is important, one thing is crucial, and that is enriched uranium. Prior to the American attacks, International Atomic Energy Agency, or the IAEA, had reported that Iran possesses more than 400 kilograms of uranium enriched to 60% purity. Levels close to the 90% enrichment are required to build a nuclear weapon. In the aftermath of American strikes on Iranian nuclear sites, an advisor to Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, made it clear that Iran still had stocks of enriched uranium. The head of the IAEA, Rafael Grossi, said on Monday that Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi had informed the agency in a letter dated June 13th that Iran had implemented special measures to protect nuclear materials and equipment. Now, by special measures, could Iran have meant that it had moved its uranium stockpiles to another location? That's even before the US airstrikes under Operation Midnight Hammer, because satellite images captured just days before the US strikes showed unusual activity near the Fordo nuclear site. Multiple vehicles, including large trucks, were seen near the site. Shortly after the strikes, Iranian state media reported that key nuclear materials, including enriched uranium, had been moved to secure locations. So if enriched uranium was indeed moved, how did Iran manage to do it? According to the World Nuclear Transport Institute, which is a UK-based non-profit organization, enriched uranium can be stored in reinforced steel containers with additional protective casing. And then this can be transported by road, rail or sea, all of which are feasible under the right conditions. Another possibility is that Iran may have transferred the material to a key ally, and there are examples for such a move. In December 2015, a Russian cargo ship transported nearly all of Iran's stockpile of low-enriched uranium out of the country. That operation was publicly acknowledged by then US Secretary of State John Kerry and confirmed by Rosatom, which is Russia's civilian nuclear agency. So far, Iran has not disclosed whether any such arrangement took place again. Still, despite the attack on its nuclear infrastructure, Tehran's latest statement suggests that its nuclear ambitions remain intact. While the US airstrikes appear to have damaged Iran's nuclear sites, the core goal of eliminating enriched uranium from Iranian possession remains uncertain. Even as Iran signals its intent to resume the program, officials in Washington and Vienna continue to assess the long-term repercussions of it. Well, NATO boss Mark Rutte sent a gushing, caps-heavy pre-summit note to the US President Donald Trump, showing just how far he's willing to go to flatter the US President. Trump is headed to the Netherlands for the NATO summit. Congratulations and thank you for your decisive action in Iran. That was truly extraordinary and something no one else dared to do. It makes us safer. That's what Rutte wrote. Rutte then turned to the real business of the summit, spending pledges, and made sure Trump got the credit for rallying Europe. He wrote, "Europe is going to pay in a big way, as they should, and it would be your win. You are flying into another big success in The Hague this evening. It was not easy, but we've got them all signed on to 5%, he added. Trump, true to form, promptly posted the letter online. Rutter's approach, which experts are calling smart, shows his sophisticated understanding of Trump's psychological triggers. The use of capitalized words and the text laced with praise for the US president and keeping Trump inside the NATO tent, no matter the cost, has become Rutter's top diplomatic priority. With Trump storming back to power and warning allies that he would not protect those who don't pay up, Rutter went all in, clearly. On board Air Force One, Trump did not answer directly when asked whether he would abide by Article 5 of the NATO treaty, which outlines the alliance's mutual defense guarantees.
We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.
Has the Trump brokered ceasefire between Israel and Iran already fallen apart? Well, that's the big question we are asking tonight on Gravitas. It was a dramatic turn overnight. US President Donald Trump announced a ceasefire between Iran and Israel, and for a moment it felt like the fighting might stop. Markets rallied, oil prices dropped, the dollar slipped, stocks surged. But just as quickly, the question changed, is the war really over just because Trump says it is? Because within hours, the missiles were allegedly flying again. And then came the outburst. A visibly angry Trump lashed out. He accused both sides of breaking the deal. The ceasefire, it seems, is already in pieces. In Israel, no warning siren sounded after 7:45 GMT, while in Iran, the military reported the last strikes at around 5:30 GMT. Trump, who made the announcement on social media on Tuesday, had earlier in the day even thanked Iran. Yes, he thanked Tehran for giving the US advance notice before it launched the missiles at a US base in Qatar. The base had been evacuated and no one was hurt. That's because the Iranian strike, while it might look aggressive on paper, was a symbolic one. It was a carefully choreographed move by Tehran to de-escalate tensions. That's after the Israeli-American strikes on Iran's nuclear sites. It was a message of restraint from Iran. Iran, which had stopped short of officially accepting the proposal, said that the Islamic Republic's forces had compelled Israel to unilaterally cease fire. Its foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, had earlier said that if Israel stopped its illegal aggression, Tehran would have no intention to continue fighting. Meanwhile, Israel had said that it had agreed to Trump's ceasefire plan, adding that it had achieved all its goals. But then almost 3 hours after the start of the ceasefire brokered by Trump, which he said came into effect in a post on Truth Social at 6:08 GMT, Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz said he has ordered the country's military to respond forcefully to Iran's violation of the ceasefire. This directive followed an announcement by the military that it had detected missile launches from Iran towards Israel. Israel claimed that both intercepted and vowed a response. Iran, meanwhile, denied the accusation, calling it baseless. Then came a stunning message from Trump. Speaking to reporters before leaving for the NATO summit, the US president lashed out at both the countries, both Iran and Israel, for violating the ceasefire, and he was especially harsh on Israel. Well, he used some choice of words to express his frustration. Take a listen.
You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
On his Truth Social platform, Trump posted in all caps, and I'm quoting here, "Israel, do not drop those bombs. If you do, it's a major violation. Bring your pilots home now," unquote. He also urged the ceasefire is now in effect. Please do not violate it. And if you're wondering how this fragile ceasefire even came together, it turns out Qatar may have played a crucial role. According to news agency AFP, Qatari Prime Minister helped broker the truce after Iran's missile strike on the US base near Doha. He reportedly spoke to Tehran following a conversation with US Vice President J.D. Vance and convinced Iran to accept the US proposal for a ceasefire with Israel. Qatar's Prime Minister has urged both Iran and the US to return to the nuclear talks table, and also warned Israel not to use the Iran ceasefire as a cover to intensify bombing in Gaza. I'm quoting again, "We hope Israel does not exploit this truce to unleash everything it wants to unleash on Gaza." But doubts remain. The UN nuclear watchdog says it cannot confirm whether Iran's underground Fordo nuclear facility was destroyed or not, despite the US president claiming it was totally destroyed. Even Trump's own advisors now seem to be shifting the goalpost, suggesting the strike's success is not measured by damage, but by pushing Iran back to the negotiating table. Whether Iran agrees with that framing, that's another matter entirely. And there's one more strategic factor in play. We are talking about the Strait of Hormuz, this important choke point through which over 20% of the world's oil flows. Iran still controls it and still holds that card. According to experts, Iran is unlikely to block the strait as it would hurt its allies, especially China and Iraq, and risk uncontrollable escalation. But if Iran's economic infrastructure is ever targeted, that could change. So what's the bottom line here? The missiles may have stopped for now, but that does not mean trust has been built. Far from it, actually. This piece feels shaky. Meanwhile, the political messaging is all over the place. The question being, will this fragile truce between Iran and Israel hold? The war is over for now. The missiles and the bombs are not dropping from the skies. Both Iranian and Israelis can breathe easy for now. But in the last 12 days of this intense fighting that we've been seeing, the might of Israeli military, there were some surprises from the Iranians as well. The Iranian forces fired newer missiles with heavy payloads and hypersonic speeds. Our next story takes a look at a multi-warhead missile which Iran unleashed over Israel. Take a look.
Iran has just rewritten the rules of missile warfare. And Israel is reeling from the shock. In the latest and most audacious wave of Operation True Promise 3, the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps unleashed its new multi-warhead Ghadr-H ballistic missiles for the first time, striking deep into Israeli territory. These new missiles are designed to maximize destruction and punch through Israel's multi-layered air defense shield. For Israel, the threat is real. The Gather H's multi-warhead design means a single missile can split in flight, targeting several locations at once and overwhelming even the most advanced interceptors. This is a leap beyond Iran's previous arsenal, solid and liquid-fueled missiles like the Khaybar Shekan, Emad and Fatah 1, all of which were also deployed in this operation. The IRGC's tactics are evolving rapidly, mixing missile salvos with coordinated drone swarms to probe and exploit every weakness in Israeli defenses. For 12 days, Israeli Air Force launched multiple rounds of attacks. After destroying Iranian air defenses, destroyed IDF claimed total air superiority. Israel has claimed to destroyed multiple missile launching sites, along with command and control units. Despite the relentless bombardment, Iranian armed forces have continued to launch multiple rounds of missile attacks every day. The relentless bombardment has severely weakened, but Iran's missile program is a force to be reckoned with, capable of delivering death and destruction on command. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.